Good morning and welcome to the $100,000 Minute Group with Keisha Dixon. I am Keisha Dixon, and today I would love to talk to you about pricing. Yeah, pricing. Yesterday I created a really short post um, about how I start to cringe when I hear people say, "Charge what you're worth," something like that. And the thing is, we're priceless, right? So it's impossible to charge what we're worth because we're priceless. We are priceless. So charge what you charge. And there was a lot of interaction on that post. And one thing that came up was, how do I'm paraphrasing, how do I know what to price, particularly if I'm just starting out? Because you'll hear, do a ladder, right? Or go ahead and start with high ticket offers. You get to charge what you feel is correct for you. Now, how do you validate your prices? Um, I have worked with lots and lots of coaches and mentors, and there are two schools of thought about validating pricing that I agree with both schools of thought. One, the best validation, well, I'm not going to say the best. One way to validate whether you're pricing at a place that you can receive and you'll have clients for, is to make the sale, right? There's no validation like the sale that validates that, yes, there are people out there who will purchase your service, invest in your business at the price point that you have named. Another way to validate your pricing is to host validation calls. Now, I've done both. I don't do validation calls all the time, but I particularly like it when I'm working or connecting with a brand new audience for me, or I am I've created or designed or am thinking about designing a brand new program. So today I wanted to walk you through the 7 questions that I ask when running a validation call. I have found this to be amazingly beneficial, and it is also for myself and for my clients pre-sold, not pre-sold the offer before it's even ready, which is phenomenal, right? That's great validation right there. Hold on, just taking off my boots. All right, so to host a validation call, the way this works is you are hosting at least a minimum of 10 validation calls for your new offer, your new high ticket offer. I don't do this for anything that's under $5,000. There's just no need. I don't feel there's any need. You may feel differently. But whenever I create a new program with a new audience and I'm feeling into a price point of $5,000 or more, that's what I consider to be a high ticket offer, I book a minimum of 10 validation calls. That way I can analyze the data. So when you have your validation call, always remember, this is not a sales call. Can sales come out of this call? Yes, but go in with the mindset this is not a sales call. You are simply validating the offer that you already know in your belly is like, this is lighting me up. So when you get the first person on the call, and for this, I try not to use like family and friends. I really try to validate the offer. I do. I validate the offer with my intended audience, right? Because I want to know if it resonates with them. So I get 10 people. I host these calls one-to-one. They don't take more than 20 minutes. You don't want them to take more than 20 minutes. You really want to value the other person's time and value your time as well. And you start the call with thanking them, one, for showing up, and telling them you're going to read to them your big outcome statement for this new program that you have. Now, the big outcome statement is that outcome that your program, your service, your course provides, that one big outcome. It's that you know how statement that you're talking about the pain points, and then you're going into imagine instead the desired outcome, which is, by the way, the outcome that your course provides, right? Your program provides. And then you introduce the program. You tell them I have a program called, and in it my clients achieve. And then you go through um, the stages of your program. And for each stage, you name the stage. For this validation call, you name the stage, you name the step, and each stage should have a prize or a milestone, a way that your client would know, and definitely the person on the receiving end of the validation call would know how they successfully completed that stage. So you're walking them through, and each time a stage is completed successfully, it's like the bell has been rung, right? And there's a prize associated to that, which is a benefit. The prize is the benefit associated to that, a milestone associated with that. So you walk them through the stages. And then when you're done, you're going to say, okay, so that's my big outcome statement. And then you're going to dive into the 7 questions. So I know I went through that kind of quickly. So what I'm going to do is read to you a big outcome statement that I had for Monetize Your Mind when I was doing it with an audience that had recently left the corporate environment. And at that time, I was running it as a group program. So here's an example of the big outcome statement I used for Monetize Your Mind when I was running validation calls. It's changed somewhat, but this you'll get the drift. All right. And you are reading this because you want to make sure that you hit every single point. That's going to be very helpful for you as you're asking the 7 questions of the validation call. So here's my big outcome statement I created for Monetize Your Mind. You know how back in the day your dream job was in corporate management, and now you're here and it just sucks. It sucks because it takes you away from your family. It sucks because you spend your day doing things that you loathe, like navigating office politics, being plugged into email 24/7, building a rapport with direct reports, the overwhelm of company change, and the increasing discomfort of the company's vision being vastly different from your personal values. You know that the stress of this is affecting your health, your relationships, and your money. The guilt from your family and loved ones ends up getting the guilt you have that your family and friends and loved ones end up getting the worst version of you is eating you up inside. You comfort yourself with mindless internet shopping, placing yourself in a cycle of debt, which takes you further from fulfilling your dreams. Imagine instead you build a business that you've created, one that you're passionate about. Imagine you enjoy collaborating with colleagues across the globe. You have the freedom to set your own business hours. Your team is one that's built on a foundation of vision and purpose. You enjoy the vision and the mission of your business, a vision which you communicate based on your personal values. Imagine that you have ample time to spend with loved ones, and family dinners and getaways are filled with love and focused attention. Imagine you have created an income that allows for an increase of savings and a reduction of debt, and shopping is intentional and deliberate. You have traded those golden handcuffs for consistent clients and sales, earning your big income goal, doing what you love. I help you create that in Monetize Your Mind. The stages of Monetize Your Mind are uncover. In this stage, you uncover your current beliefs about wealth, confidence, joy, and freedom that you're permitted to have so that you can create your own roadmap, to creating a business that you're passionate about. The second stage is heal. In this stage, you heal your money, goal, and success traumas so that you can confidently shatter your internal glass ceilings that are dictating how much wealth and how much pleasure you get to enjoy in your life. The third stage is future goal pacing. You get to determine in this stage your next desired level of financial empowerment and personal freedom so that you have a goal roadmap to earning your income with ease. The fourth stage of Monetize Your Mind is Vixen Mindset. In this fourth stage, you become more visible, more inspired, more excited, empowered, and needed so that you can show up with double the confidence and the proven techniques to use to confidently share your message and market yourself boldly. And the fifth stage is implement. And this stage is running concurrently with the other four stages. During this phase, you are making steady, enthusiastic progress towards your goal while eliminating procrastination and self-sabotage and while manifesting unexpected support and opportunities so that you consistently attract clients and earn your big income goal doing what you love. So that was my big outcome statement at that time for Monetize Your Mind when I was working with women who were thinking about leaving corporate or had recently left corporate to start their own business. So then after finish reading that script, because it is a script that you've written based on your program, you then say, great, now I'd love to ask you a few questions about what I just described because they're validated. They're listening carefully and they're validating what resonates with them. The first question that you ask is, does this problem that I described resonate with you? And they'll tell you yes or no. A lot of times they'll tell you exactly what resonated with them. Second question, and you're taking notes or recording the call. Second question is, would you invest to solve the problem and or get the outcome that I just described? They'll tell you yes or they'll tell you no. You're taking notes. The third question that you ask is, do these steps that I indicated, do they make sense? Can you see yourself going through this process? And again, they'll tell you, yes, it makes sense, or no, I'm a little confused. Can you explain this part or that part? And they'll also tell you if they could see themselves going through the processes that you described in your big outcome statement. The fourth question, assuming that the investment made sense, would you join a program like this? And they'll tell you yes, or they'll tell you no. The fifth question is, how much would you invest in a program like this? They'll name a price. You're writing that price down. The sixth question is, would you pay? And then you use the number that you're feeling into as the number of your service or program. So would you pay $5,000 for this, or would you pay $10,000 for this, or 15, or whatever your price is? Would you pay? And you wait for their answer, yes or no. And the seventh question is, would you like me to contact you? Now, if they said, would you invest to solve this problem, and the problem resonated with them, and they've told you how much they would invest, and they told you whether or not they would pay the price that you're thinking about. The seventh question is, would you like me to contact you when the program launches? If yes, then follow up in less than 5 days to schedule. And I like to follow up within 24, no more than 48 hours, to follow up, to schedule a session with them to discuss the program further. That's how you pre-sell. Do not sell on the validation call. If they say, yes, sign me up, stay in integrity. You've already let them know ahead of time when you ask them to join the validation call that it wasn't a sales pitch. So it's not. So you can, on the call, great. So, this is a validation call. I respect your time. let's schedule a time in the next 24 hours, and I'll give you more details about joining the program, and you can join at the pre-sale rate, and we can sign you up tomorrow, whatever that is. So that is the way I host a validation call. Now, what the answers to these questions, once you've hosted at least 10 of these validation calls, the answers to these questions are not personal at all, right? Your business is your baby and personal to you. The validation call is simply research. It doesn't mean you have to change a thing, but it does give you powerful information to go back to. So here's the information. I wrote this down. If three or more people out of the 10 people that you've talked to say no, the problem that you've described does not resonate with them, then there is in your copy or in your design of the program, there's a problem resonating issue, right? So what you can do if that happens is you review the pain points, right? In your offer, review the pain points. They may not be the right pain points to move the needle to drive people to invest, or they may not be specific enough. You may need more specificity. Review the outcome statement as a whole as well. It just might not be interesting enough. Also, it might not be interesting to the audience that you feel it would interest. That's lead generation. That requires getting a new audience, right? A new target market. The target market just might not care enough, and that's a great indication that it's time to get fresh eyes for this particular offer. If three or more people say no, they wouldn't be willing to spend time or money to solve this problem, then you have it. Then what you get to do is review the pain points again. They may not be serious enough for your current audience. Review the outcome statement. It might not be big enough for your current audience. Review the target market again. That's bring fresh eyes. Bring the people who actually, you have a problem that you can solve and or an issue you can solve. Targeting, connecting with the people who have already indicated this is a problem I need solved is the easiest way to attract new clients to your business. If three or more people say no, they think that they don't think the stages make sense, then there's an issue with the stage design itself of your core offer. You want to go back and review the stages of your offer, and make them more clear, make them more specific. If three or more people say that no, they would not join a program like this regardless of the price, then the program itself is not resonating with your audience, new audience, or find out what does resonate for them, right? It can still be the same offer with a different outcome. All of our offers, we know, particularly as coaches, we know that while we're naming one specific outcome, there are a multitude of things that our offer solves. So pick another, right? As you're having these validation conversations, it will come up what would really resonate for people. Or again, find an audience it resonates with. Pricing. If 5 or more people say no, they would not invest at that level, at the level that you suggest, then that's either an audience problem. There's, new leads who would pay for this, or you didn't dive into what this is costing them already. What is this costing you in your life, right? You want to go back into the stages and into the problem and dive even deeper and get even more specific. So that is how I run my validation calls. I've found it, and my clients have found it too, particularly clients who are just starting out or pivoting in their business, even a slight pivot. Running validation calls is an extremely useful tactic and strategy to, one, feel really solid in your pricing. You get to price whatever you price. And people get to buy at whatever price point they want to buy at for them. You get to really connect with your audience knowing that your price is right for them, just as right for them as it is for you. I'm Keisha Dixon. I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments your biggest takeaway from it, and if you've run validation calls before or not, and how you've found those validation calls. All right, I am going to sign off now. Have a wonderful day, everyone.